that's looking to fuck your mama. Hey, what's up? Shout out to whoever just said that. Live concert, man. This is a new song I just wrote. Baby, why you always on my dick? This ain't your shit, you don't own it. Your name's not on it. You got the fucking trick, this ain't your shit. Give me back my dick. She's down to suck the whole clip. Fucking trick, you be sucking on my dick. Stay out the whole fucking night. I'll be back till the morning, like we just took a flight. I'll be there by the night. She's alright, she can stay the whole night. She just took a flight. Girl, follow me. Everywhere I be, she's always on my D. She's fucking on me. Don't rate me. I love that girl. She's my whole world, bitch. Call me, girl. Give you the whole world. And bitch, it's your dick. Come and get your dick, girl. Baby, why you always on my dick? This ain't your shit. You don't own me. You make not on me. You filthy fucking trick. This ain't your shit. Give me back my dick. She's down to suck the whole clip. Fucking trick. She was sucking on my dick. Stayed out the whole fucking night. We'll be back till the morning.
So don't you know where to go when it's cold for the world? So let them know who you are. Should've started with a fall. Never quit. Scratch the bitch off the list. Now niggas pissed. Let the hoe at the dollar store. I'm a shot caller, even more. Big baller off the show. Bitch, I'm about to blow. Let them know who you are.
This shit hard.
I wanna kill my mom. Kill my mom. I wanna kill my dad. Grandma. Kill my grandma. I wanna kill my mom. Kill my mom. I wanna kill my dad. My dad. I wanna kill my grandma. Grandma. Kill my grandma. I wanna kill. I'm gonna do it once again. I'm going viral once again. I'm only 6, I'm paying rent. I'm just a kid and I'm a man. I'll get some D-Bucks on the man. Yeah. I'll get some D-Bucks on the man. Yeah. I wanna kill my mom. Kill my mom. I wanna kill my dad. My dad. I wanna kill my grandma. Grandma. Kill my grandma. I wanna kill my mom. Kill my mom. I wanna kill my dad. My dad. I wanna kill my grandma. Grandma. Kill my grandma.
God is looking. What if I were to tell you that God is looking for a specific type of person? A specific type of individual? The truth is, He is. The eyes of the Lord are going all across the world looking for a specific type of person. And the type of person has nothing to do with race, age, gender, or social status. So then, who exactly is God looking for? 2 Chronicles 16:9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth to shew wrong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him. So I have one question for you today, and one question only. Is God looking for you? Is he? Most of us have an image of God sitting on his throne in heaven, waiting for Judgment Day, thinking that is when he will move from his position. We often only think about the eyes of God in regards to him being the judge of all humanity. And by judge, we think only about his wrath. There is indeed coming a time when God will call all men into account for their deeds. This verse reveals a different image for our Lord, one who is actively searching. God is looking for those who are reliant upon him and who gain their strength and wisdom from him, who have placed all their trust in him. That is the type of person God is looking for. God isn't a father whose only motivation for watching his children is to catch them in wrong. I assure you, that is not the truth. We need to stop viewing God as a God who only watches when we do wrong. He also watches when we do right. If God can see you lying, he can also see when you tell the truth. God can see you stealing. He can also see you when you pray to him. Why is it so easy for us to believe that God is watching us when we do wrong, but it is so hard for us to believe that God is watching us when we do right? God is a loving Father who keeps watch over us most keenly. His lament is always, Matthew 23:37, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and you would not. This is the posture of God towards us. So his eyes do not hide when we sense his presence. The key thing of note is that he is looking for those whose heart is perfect toward him. Most of us shudder when we hear the word perfect because it seems far-fetched for human beings to be perfect. Yet God is searching the earth. Every tribe, tongue, creed, city, town, church, house. He is looking for those whose heart...
Floyd Masters is a proud conservative working to put an end to...
Dude, you better not be my fucking shit, dude. Fuck you, bitch. I was talking to you, motherfucker. I was talking to Chelsea, motherfucker. What? Fuck you, bitch.
Okay, I got this from a Jewish website. This is supposedly what Ezekiel saw. If you look at this thing, we know it's a hexagon, but it's also a hexagon is a cube. Okay, in the occult writings, it said that Saturn said I am the north, south, east, west, top, and bottom. That's a cube. Okay, the word news, I imagine, is probably derived from the north, northeast, west, and south. As a matter of fact, I've heard Maxwell refer to those letters, but not telling you what it was in reference to. So I'm pretty sure that's what he's talking about. I'll give you some examples that show you the diagram. It's all here, the Star of David, the Seal of Saturn. All of these things are in here, but what is this thing? Obviously, this thing is embedded in the earth, and I'm going to show you why that is, because of the way that they've written it out. So, I'll just show you some designs here. You can clearly see that it's the circle and the square, yeah? But let's just take a look at some of the other designs in there. So if we look here at the bottom of this thing, the bottom of the cube, it says the abyss. Now that's interesting. So that means the abyss is within this cube, which if the abyss is within the cube, then that means that we're within the cube. Because the abyss is the ocean, and it's also a place called Tartarus, which is in the ground. Now let's look at the other place. Okay, so now we look at the top, which comes to a point, but it's really the top of the cube, and we see that it says firmament. Firmament. The firmament is land. In Genesis, it talks about the seas and the firmament that God created, the seas and the firmament. Okay, so we know that this is the top. This is where we're at, and the abyss is the bottom. So the top of the way they got to draw the top of the cube is where we're at. You know, and the abyss is the bottom of the cube. But if we look on either side, it says wing. Well, what is this wing? A wing here, and a wing here, and a wing here.
Did you see that trick shot? That trick shot was sick.
Let's see. In the book of Ezekiel, he said when he looked at it, there were 4 wings. Okay, well, let's just look at something that I ran across a long, long time ago. This is from the BBC. This is their logo from the 1950s. If we look, we see a wing on one side, we see a wing on the other side, we see a line going through the middle where it has 2 poles. In the middle, we definitely can see what would be considered the all-seeing eye or Saturn. But there's 3 of these things that move in unison with each other, like a gyroscope. And I have the original version and the computerized, updated version. What's interesting is if you look on these wings right in the center, what do you see? You see what appears to be a pine cone. And that's what's in front of the Vatican. So I don't believe that the pine cone represents the pineal gland. I believe it represents this thing, which represents the cube. Okay, so you got a North Pole and a South Pole.
Chelsea.
So what's really being implied here by the New Yorker magazine?
Chelsea.
It's saying Saturn, center of the Earth. Are they really saying that what this representation of Saturn is in the center of the Earth? Is this what Saturn is Satan, and they're saying it's in the center of the Earth, where all those crystals are at? Is that what that's really saying? Saturn, center.
Do you have any shit?
What?
Do you have any shit?
Okay.
I have some more Eddies.
Center of the Earth.
What?
I have some Eddies.
I don't know. That's what it sounds like to me.
Can we get it?
Did you see Colton slap me?
We know it's.
No,
Or
he slap you.
he went like that, but all soft.
He's giving you love tap. It's showing some fucking aggression.
He's dumb, dude.
Time is money. Okay. Here we see a circle with an S.
He's lucky he didn't punch me all the way. I would have fucking picked him up over my head and threw him.
Okay. It's a time cube. All right. I'll show you the mechanical workings of that in a second.
Chelsea.
Disney guy, but no
Chelsea.
go away, scram, hands off.
Come here.
Isn't it funny? The more that you speak the truth, the more resistance you get. Is that
Chelsea.
being done here? Okay, so we just saw in the same cartoon,
Chelsea.
I believe. We have a dollar sign in this picture.
Chelsea. Come here.
It's a pound sign from England.
Chelsea.
So really what that is it's two symbols in one. It's an E and an L. It's an E and an L. So it makes
Chelsea.
the L.
Come here.
And it also has the L and it's on the cube. So again, this thing L is the cube that's in the center of the earth.
Chelsea.
It's gotta be. I mean, it's the only thing that makes sense.
Maybe.
Tell her, come here.
She'll be back.
She left.
Okay, I'm gonna try and explain this to you.
Tell her I have some.
This is really a cube with a circle in it, showing a roundabout circular motion. Okay, it's interesting the way that they write this out in physics because it really sounds biblical. Why am I going to hell?
Because you sign.
Let's look where the green is. It
Sine
says,
wave.
Cause I sin.
Sin, sine.
Okay.
Sine wave.
Why are
And a
we
cosine wave. A cosine wave and a
Look
sine
down,
wave.
third line down. Our sin.
Lost
Or
sin.
above it, cause our sin.
My name's
Sin
Lost
is
Sin.
the abbreviation for a sine wave. A sine wave is represented by an S or a dollar sign. Now when you see this in motion, you'll understand. The middle line is linear time. You've got an x-axis right here, and then you've got a y-axis. If you connected all 4 points, you get a 3D cube. Okay? Now you'll see where the serpent comes in. As this circle spins, it creates a snake-like pattern. Watch. Okay, we can see that it's spinning. You see it, it's busted into 4 quarters. So we have 4 quarters.
Chelsea.
Hey, she's not here.
She left.
You can see the serpent. You can see how it's created.
She's dumb. I just loaded the ball.
There's your S. Remember, this is really a cube. You got an X, an XY. Your Z-axis
What?
is the one that comes at a 45-degree angle.
What?
So you've got time, you've got the X-axis and the
I'll
Y-axis.
let you hit it.
And the circular motions of the seasons or life or whatever the hell that they're trying to explain here to you with physics. It's what that little symbol is down there in your Windows logo.
Come hit it.
Okay? Cause I sin. And notice how they write sin in red. And what is the devil? He's always depicted as red. And so we see this from Disney again. Time eventually tells
I'm gonna kill my
Duckburg that it's the dawn of a new day.
I'm gonna kill my dad.
Now, this cartoon is the same one with the cube that hit the World Trade Center
I like it.
long 3-4 years ago. Or 2 years ago, whatever. So here we see that it's saying time tells Duckburg that it's the dawn of a new day.
Nate.
Nathaniel.
That's interesting, isn't it? Dawn of a new day. We know what that is. That's
make
the
some dinner.
return.
Want me to
That's
save you some
the
hamburger
startup.
meat to cook you
You can
something?
see the
Make me
pillars in
some.
the back are purple.
Make me
The
some.
ones in the yellow.
You just want to
In
know
the
what I'm
front.
gonna eat? It's gonna be grilled. It's
Oh,
gonna be
the new
that
day, huh?
macaroni and cheese with hamburger meat in it.
And what it says, and it is time that is the ultimate. Well, Saturn said I am, right? Why did the cartoonist need to put this in? It's time for you to shut up
You need
and
to-
end this story.
You need
I'm not sure what that
to
means or who he's
apply?
talking to.
apply tomorrow or Monday.
Look at how he's
On Monday,
spelled
apply
the E.
to Social
You see
Security.
how the E is
And
the
then
corner of the cube.
Call your dad or your grandma. Call one of them. Check in and they tell them hi. You know what I mean? Say happy Halloween or something. Call one of your family members and tell them hi. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to get a hold of my dad. Because he can help me fix my house. My dad, he's a framer. Yeah, he frames houses. He's a framer. Jamie knows him. My dad. He's a framer, huh? And my stepdad, he's from Saudi Arabia. He's an agent. He was a Border Patrol agent. So was I. I got to fucking drive all this shit. And I was in the Army too. I drove tanks. I was a tank pilot. But I was airborne tank pilot. I had to jump out of an airplane with the tank. Like, jump out of the airplane with the tank, like standing on top of the tank, then deploy the parachute on the tank in the front, deploy the parachute on the back of the tank, jump off, fly like a half mile away from the tank, deploy my parachute, and then land on the ground and not get tangled up with the tank. So you gotta deploy the tank's parachute and fly away from it before it hits the ground. And you get dropped from 20,000 feet. But the halo jumps are even higher. The halo jump from where there's very little oxygen. Like, helicopters can't fly that high. Only like a really big airplane going really, really fast, a jet. Like rockets. That's the only thing that goes that high is a rocket. I want to be an astronaut. No cap, I want to be a fucking astronaut. I want to fly the Starship back and forth like a truck driver in America. America, there's truck drivers. I don't know how other countries are, but in America, like, it's a profession. You could be a truck driver, and you drive the big trucks, these big rig trucks, and they have a trailer on the back. It's like a big ass trailer, like a rectangle, and they just pull back and forth, and the trailer is just loaded with whatever, like loaded with furniture, loaded with food, loaded with like all kinds of shit, tools, loaded with all kinds of shit, electronics, stuff for every store, for Walmart, for Safeway, all the stores, semis, dude. And it's like, just imagine a frigate, but in space, like, because they're gonna go to Mars, and one of the things in Mars is, as soon as they get to Mars, they're gonna set up a base, a Mars base, and when they set up the Mars base, they're gonna need to take people to Mars. I want to be the guy that drives people back and forth on the Starship, because the Starship is a big ship. It's like a bus, and it's gonna transport vehicles, men, like all kinds of equipment. It's gonna transport everything, and it's huge. It's a big ass ship, and when it lands, if it goes sideways, just slow down, and then it goes back straight, and then lands fucking straight up and down. Is Eric here? You should put some of the macaroni and cheese in it. Jamie? What? You should put some of the cheese from the macaroni and cheese in it. That powdered cheese? Not your powdered fucking cheese under your fucking toes. The fucking powdered cheese under your fucking... The from under cheese from under your balls. I'm gonna play music because I'm hearing dirty jokes in my head. I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay, just following up with my theory that the internet doesn't...
They're not regular people.
I just want to start. The etherical plane is where the spirits live, I guess, as you put it. Or incarnate entities, or be that as it may, whatever. It's a place where, you know, where spirits would inhabit that can't get back into the third dimension. So just the word etheric. How do we tie that? How do we tie that to the computer?
The Ethernet.
And so I did
cable. Ethernet cable.
Investigating, and it came to me really pretty easy. Hang on.
Cables. Ethernet cables. Etheric rim cables.
This is the Ethernet. So you have the etherical plane and the Ethernet. Now to get into the etherical plane to communicate,
you need a channel.
You need a channeler. To get onto the internet, you need an Ethernet connector. And to get onto YouTube, you have to have a channel. And it's interesting, L-E-L, that word E-L.
I live in El Frida.
The designation for the entity of Saturn.
Oh.
And it's interesting that all communications seem to have that in it. Telephone, cell phone,
Echelon,
telegraph. Even the biggest mass communicative center in the world, Echelon, which can monitor every single. 1 second. It's Echelon. There's the word
Echelon.
So it's my assumption that once again, this is emanating from a place called Dath, D-A-A-T-H.
Doth.
That is
Darth.
a sphere that's outside the planet Saturn. And as you know, if you watch my video, that all the browsers' names, the big ones, go back to the planet Saturn. I'm just trying to tie up some loose ends here. It's only theory, and I'm probably way off, but it's interesting nonetheless. This is interesting. The word Ethernet comes from the Greek athia,
To shine.
which means to burn or shine.
Burn or shine.
Saturn is associated with Satan.
Hail
And
Serapis.
biblically it says, do not be surprised that Satan would show himself as an angel of light. So there's a connection that can be made there. I'm not so sure that Saturn and Satan are the same, one and the same, because, you know, it's...
I know.
That's conjecture, but...
I know which one is.
I'm just trying to show you similarities.
I know who's who.
Once again, like I said, I'm probably wrong, but, you know, it's fun investigating.
I met him. And God. I know
What you see
I
here,
know who
this
God
is
is
North
too.
Pole Saturn.
I met God.
You know, I'm just recapping this for
And
some of the
Jesus.
people that follow
I
my
met
videos.
Jesus.
If we look, you see a hexagon. This is the North Pole.
I had to get the real. I had to get God's side of the story.
Explain that in a minute.
I interviewed God and Satan and Jesus. I interviewed all of them at the same time.
National flag. It is not a hexagon. That is a two-dimensional version of a three-dimensional cube. Which incidentally, your pyramids are cubes because when looking up from the top, they become an X box. But they all refer back to the planet Saturn and the time cube. This thing on the top is what regulates time and space in the third dimension. That's why it's in so many logos around the world, because there are those people that are in the know, and they
You
have
either know or you
a lot of money. And they know this. They know this is what's going on with the world. This is why birds and fish and frogs are all dying, because it's part of the time cube. So to outline it so that
on the counter,
see it. That's called spatial.
Look in the oven.
Look at a two-dimensional and turn it into a three. But I'll go ahead and outline it so you can see it.
I didn't take them. Tell my grandma. Tell my grandma. Swear to God, tell my grandma, dude.
So here you can clearly see that it
tell her, dude.
A hexagon turns into a cube. You'll find the same cube if you go look at Walmart. Look
tell her, or I think you did it.
Of their logo. There's a hexagon. This is the represents the planet Saturn. But incidentally,
I know you did it.
Top of the planet Saturn.
Because you're the one talking about it. You had to have done it. I hate people that steal, dude. You guys are pieces of shit.
Notice, there's two colors, red and blue. Red and blue,
dude, grow up, dude.
Two different meanings, at least from my studies, what I understand. We're just going to stick with one right now at this point. It represents time. You see the blue circle around the cube? Well, the circle represents time. The cube represents space. That's why it's called a time cube.
I thought that was one of those chickens.
These two colors are time. They're two waves. One is a sine wave, the other one is a cosine wave. They're what keeps us locked in here. They're also is what creates the seal of Saturn. And I'll do that in another video. But just so you can see the two colors, these are taken from NASA, by the way.
Fucking NASA.
Here we see on the overlay that we have a circle with a blue lizard on the inside.
Right?
With a cube in the middle. Those two colors designate time. Incidentally, they're the same two colors that were on the North Pole of Saturn. Okay? These strange cloud formations you see that are rings, like if you go Google the mysterious cloud over Russia that looked like a big ring, that's because that's the South Pole of Saturn emanating huge amounts of energy, like an aurora borealis. And what it's doing is it's flooding the Earth, because as above, so below. It's flooding the Earth with that magnetic energy or whatever it is, and so it's creating the exact same design. As above, so below. This is nothing new, man. This has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. Man has come and gone. This is not the first time we've been here. This is a cube. You notice it's 4 colors again: red, yellow, blue, green. It's an ongoing thing. Some people that are, Wiccan or whatever, they'll tell you, well, those are the 4 colors of the seasons. I'm not going to say they're wrong, because in their way of thinking, they're correct. But these colors go all the way back to Egypt, to the pyramids, and they represent not only the seasons, but they represent the build-up of civilizations and the fall of civilizations. And what's happening right now is we are declining as a civilization. We are falling apart. We are in the red zone right now, and after we go from the red zone, you go green. That's why they're telling you to go green. Play on words there on their part. This is what you call the Star of David. Well, that's not quite true, because
Saturn.
David didn't have
Seal
a star.
Saturn.
Jesus did. This is called the Seal of Solomon. And the Seal of Solomon goes back to the Seal of Saturn. But as you notice, this is where that cube originates from, see? So it's interesting that they have that on their flag and you got that on the North Pole. And multiple businesses use this same design over and over again. Okay, and I mean real big ones. So once again, take a close look: red, yellow, blue, green. You do have some colors on the outside, and each one of those other colors is one of the bands of the colors from the planet Saturn. Each one of those colors has its own meaning, but we're just sticking with the 2 right now. Here we go. This is the Google Cube. Interesting. Same 4 colors: red, yellow, blue, green. These 4 colors from the time cube. Which I believe that Saturn is what controls the matrix. We get the same colors: red, yellow, blue, green. And it's interesting that Google, which is owned by Viacom, by the way, I have another video that I can link to it. Google is owned by Viacom. And it appears that the cube that you're looking at from Google is actually a hexagon, isn't it? So we can go back the other way with it. It's a hexagon, or it's a cube. But they both go back to the same thing. They both go back to the pyramids. Contrary to popular belief, the Jews got their stuff from Egypt. Okay, when they were there, as whatever they were, working or in slavery, whatever the story is that they choose for this week, they adopted their practices. And as they say, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So the Jews have 2 primary deities. One is the worship of the planet Saturn, where you get Saturday.
And the moon.
And the other one is the moon. Okay, I'm not going to get into all of that. This is not about the Jews. This is about where this thing comes from. But it's most associated with the Hebrew people, even though it comes from the pyramids, which is Egyptian. If we look here, look on the back of the standard computer, we have the Ethernet connector. We have 4 colors: red, yellow, blue, green. Okay, one is slightly orange, but it represents yellow. I mean, come on, you gotta give that to me. Anyway, it's red, yellow, blue, green. There's 4 of them. Each one of them has a different function. The red and blue and the green. This is kind of how your world is made up. Mine too. I mean, I'm in the same dimension that you are. But these are what makes up the reality that you live in. So you've got red, yellow, blue, green again. Okay, the same code. You'll see this over and over and over and over again. It's just interesting, Etherical plane, Ethernet connector. Isn't it interesting? I told you about the word L-E-L is the name of the deity. Saturn, which is Satan. And then you have the word L. L-E-L again. See, it's in there. It's constantly L. That's why you have temp L's. T-E-M-P, tempest. E-L, the god of time. So now you have the Time Lord. You have Decide L's. Mike L, Gabriel, Uri L. It's all got to do with time and space. This again is, if you're looking at the top of a pyramid, This is a time cube. It's in direct correlation with the planet Saturn. That's what these pyramids were for. They're time cubes. And I'm sure that there was something long time ago lost over centuries, and only a few have it at the top. You know, that it can manipulate time and space, like the other video I did with 9/11. So this also represents the stages of mankind. Start out as an infant, you know, which is the beginning of mankind. You go around until the grandparent, where you're in the critical stage, where all of, so you can see it's circular, just like Saturn, the rings. All this goes back to the worship of Saturn. It's the black sun, the dark star, whatever you want to call it. The whole world worships it, whether they know it or not. It's even down to the stitching in your clothing.
Saturn. Hail Serapis.
This is from a sports show where they talk about, you know, sports and stuff, but it's called Around the Horn. Interestingly enough, it is exactly the same pattern.
Stuck in a pattern.
That the time cube is. And incidentally, these guys know what they're talking about. I don't need to tell you who these men are, but they know.
Hail Serapis.
That's why the word horn. Horn, what does it do? A horn makes sound. Interesting.
Stuck in a pattern.
Notice the circle. The circle represents and creates the planet Saturn. How interesting. But be that as it may, this isn't about secret societies. This is about trying to show you at least what I've found. Once again, I am not biased. I do not support or represent any group. Good, bad, evil, indifferent. All I am is just a dude that's a researcher, that's it. You know, I'm not here to cast aspersions on any people, to bolster one group, to put down another. The world's got plenty of people to do that. Just go look at some of the other guys who are making videos on there. We won't have a problem with that, will we? Anyway, that's it for today. I'll have some more stuff for you maybe later today or tomorrow. Thanks. Have a nice day.
Okay. Just a second. Let me finish this match.
Some cosmic purpose, then let us find ourselves a worthy goal.
This is a little picture I had, just thought I'd show it to you. I'm continuing with Saturn, how I'm trying to show you that this thing is a spiritual nature, but it's a machine as well. Remember I told you about the time cube? That's what the pyramids are, and each color represents a different position of mankind. Well, here I found this from the kids' site, and here's the 4 colors: red, yellow, blue, green, in a pyramid configuration. Yeah, of course, the picture's a little silly, but it does pretty much advocate my position, because why would somebody draw these if there wasn't some truth to it? Because see, they always tell you the truth. They just don't put it where you can find it in plain sight. So here, they put the time cube on a kid's website, and there it is, red, yellow, blue, green. And you'll see when we do the overlay here that it coincides with the time cube and Egyptian theology of the civilization of man going to the utmost of his abilities and then declining into deprivation, which is what we're doing right now. And then here we are, we have, you know, as a reminder, here's the Google Cube, which is a hexagon, which is a hexahedron, which you'll find on the Israeli flag. You'll also find that on the North Pole of Saturn, where the information is emanating from. You can see it's red, yellow, blue, green, same configuration. That's really a cube. I know it looks like a hexagon, but it's really a cube, and it's a cube within a cube. So I told you, there's another cube in there, and that's why that little cube's on the inside of the bigger cube. So, you know, that's just following along with the same color scheme. And so let's move on to the next bit.
Peace. Sorry, I had to get my dinner. Look up.
Ain't no saving face, I ain't saving space. I'm trying to stop the send you dead weight. Gotta move around, I got runs to make. Legendary, I go push that rock. She LeBron, say the bitch they trap. She the leader out, she rather catch a play. Ooh, 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 that bitch fast with her own bag. Ooh, 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 she can pop her own bag. Ooh, 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 that little pussy water ass. Ooh, 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 come and give me all of that. Bad, but that don't matter though. Bitch, what's your credit score? I treat her like whack-a-mole. I beat the leave alone. Find a bitch with pretty teeth. Tryna give you what you need. You gotta be discreet. Sit this dick right on your teeth. Fucking on you for no channel. Bitch, I'm all up on my cheese. I'ma fuck you like no other. In the bed, we knockin' knees. Ooh, 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 ooh. Come and give me all of that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I get behind you like a quarterback. No saving face. I ain't saving space. I'm tryna stop the send you dead weight. Gotta move around. Legendary, I go push that rock. She LeBron, say the bitch they trap. She the leader out. She rather catch a play. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That bitch fast with her own bag. Ooh, 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 ooh. She can pop her own bag. Ooh, 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 ooh. That little pussy water ass. Ooh, 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 ooh. Come and give me all of that.
On my way again, I'll put that heat, ooh yeah. On your face, put it on you, ooh yeah. You wanna wait, fucking use my money, ooh yeah. It's on my way, I got nothing to lose, yeah. Yeah, when I get on top and I play, I get top, so baby, let's talk. Baby, we just getting started, we switching positions, you getting on top now. You said say it, you ain't got no time to play around. You said say it, you ain't got no time to play around.
Ain't no saving face, I ain't saving space. I'm tryna stop the send you dead weight. Gotta move around, I got runs to make. Legendary, I go push that rock. She LeBron, say the bitch they trap. She the leader out, she rather catch a play. Ooh, 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 that bitch fast with her own bag. Ooh, 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 she can pop her own bag. Ooh, 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 that little pussy water.
If Drew didn't film it, then it ain't filmed right.
That was really close, dude. That was so fucking close. I should have just used this SMG on him. I was trying to use that mythic weapon.
And today I'm going to be showing you guys how you can make turnaround jump scares in Fortnite Creative. Let's get into it. First, take your choosing character and set them up in front of a window or like a door or something. I just think a window works best in this case. Next, take a barrier and set it to pure black or gloss black and have it so that it's blocking the character when you are inside wherever you are. Obviously, this is the most optimal barrier setup is what we're working with for now. Third thing you want to do is head into your building or your little room wherever this is taking place and set up one perception trigger in front of the door and the other one so you have to turn around to look at it. The first perception trigger is going to have D set up on it. You're going to have it time continue to 1, and this is in your name. Have it transmit every 1 trigger, and then this is none. Now this is going to be actually enabled on Game Start. Make sure this says disabled, and no. But this one's going to be enabled in Game Start, and the only thing that is changing as well is when a player looks at this device transmit on channel 1. Now what that's doing is we're looking over a fifth perception trigger, and this one is actually getting enabled when it's used, as you can see. When a player looks at this, we're going to transmit on channel 2. Now another thing important for this one is make sure it is disabled once you start the game because we don't want you actually triggering the disabling of the barrier right away. We want it to enable as soon as you're looking at the window, you turn around, you look back, and the barrier is gone. So as you can see, this transmits on channel 2 when the player looks at it, and as you can see, I have the barrier being disabled. And you will look at this perception trigger, it will transmit on channel 1.
Now she sounds like a lawyer.
Turn around to close the door. The barrier is already gone, so when you turn back around, the barrier will be revealing whatever creepy character you had hidden in the barrier, and it should look something like this. So I go ahead, walk into the door, open it, and turn around to close it, and I turn back. There is our scarecrow friend. Anyway, guys, I hope this video helped you out. If you're making any horror maps, you're going to have some different jump scares. Hopefully you can use that one. If you've got a couple others, be sure to incorporate all of them. Anyway, guys, this is the syntax. Right.
Carrie Lake. She's an elect. Arizona has lots of problems, but after our fraud that cost the taxpayer.
I want to make it work in ATM.
This is Syntax, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a working ATM machine for Fortnite.
So sorry.
First thing you want to do is head to General Props Gallery A. In it, go over 3 and down 2, and you will find your ATM machine. Go ahead and place it down wherever you want in your map. Go down to a button and go ahead and take it, and then shrink it down all the way. Now I'm going to take this button and go ahead and lay it right over the actual button of the ATM machine, right there. It's pretty much for me. When you go to customize the button, do as follows. The times you want it to trigger may vary depending on the theme of the map or where you're placing it. So if you want people to draw an infinite amount of money out of the machine, go ahead and do that. If you only want them to do it once, go ahead and do that. Or if you want it 10 times. Set this however it pertains to your map. Delay, I'm not going to have any. I am going to have the trigger sound enabled though because it's going to be like you're actually pressing a button to get money out of the machine. And it's enabled at game start. Now, interact text for me, I'm going to go ahead and take it really quickly to withdraw because for this betting machine, I am having people get money out of it as opposed to putting money into it. I'll show you how to do that as well, but for this one, I'm going to go ahead and get out of it. Visual game no and change this to 0.25. After you've done that, head over to channels, and we're going to go ahead and when you're after this says on channel 1, that's just the channel I'm using as an example, and make sure whatever you do, the following items are listed on the same thing. Head back to devices and go ahead and grab the items register. Go ahead and place this down wherever, it doesn't really matter. Now with the items register, there's quite a few things that you have to have correct for this to work. So, go ahead and have this on yes. Triggering player because we want the person pushing the button to get the money out of the vending machine. And I have it grant all items. even though there's only going to be one thing in it, which is coins. Current condition is going to be always, just on cycle, doesn't matter. Equip, I have this the first item. Remove item on grant no, even though, depending on, you might have stuff in your inventory, so have this on no. Get up to ammo is also going to be no, and second behavior is going to be stop, even though there's nothing left to slicing, because like I said, there's no coin movement. Head over to channels and say grant item when receiving from the same channel your button's on, and in this case mine is on 1. Now simply head over to consumables and grab some coins. We're going to go ahead and take the amount of coins we want to drop. In this case, I think I'm going to have it be withdrawing, I don't know, $100. And depending on the amount of coins you have in your item granter, you might change the button on your ATM machine to say withdraw X amount of money. So for me, I'm just going to go ahead and change it really quickly to $100. Give me 2 seconds here. So there we go. It's changed to withdraw $100. And if all goes well, it should look something like this. So I will head up to my vending machine. As you can see, I'm hovering over the button that it says withdraw $100. And when I do that, as you can see, it says it gives me 100 coins. And I don't have coins being displayed, so as you can see, they are all in my inventory. And I can get them back up. Now I only had to activate once. So obviously, after I withdraw 100, I can't do it again. But this is useful for maps if you're trying to, make an adventure map where a player needs to go to an ATM and get some money, or like Stride's Hub, roll the clip. Let's get into how to deposit money in the ATM. For this next part, you're going to need a conditional button. So if you head over to track and head down, as you can see, there's the conditional button. Go ahead and grab that. That thing's a little large, so again, I'm going to go ahead and screw it down all the way. And we're going to place it, I don't know, right here. Right here looks good enough for me. Let me this thing. So, after you place your conditional button, go ahead and mess around with the settings. I'm going to have team all and can be used by all. The color doesn't matter, maybe change it to whatever you want. The interaction text is going to be the exact same as however much money you want to deposit. So for me, again, I'm going to say deposit 100. There we go. This I usually like to have as on-off. You can have a whole bunch of different displays if you want. But yeah, just set this to whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't mess with the mechanics at all. Toggle icon on use. You can go ahead and read. I don't actually know what that does, but that's okay. Show key item. Yes, we want them to actually see how many we want.
Since Epic refuses to add those drivable cars to Fortnite Creative, I guess I'm just gonna have to do it myself. Hey everyone, this is Syntax, and today I'm going to be walking you guys through how to make my version of a working drivable car in Fortnite Creative. Let's get into it. Actually, first of all, check the skin, dope. Second of all, look at the sky. Look what they did to Creative. It's absolutely gorgeous. The lighting is amazing. Anyway, yeah, let's get into it. I took this a step further than just a normal driving car. I actually made it so that you can't drive the car until you have fully gassed up the car. So you can see, pick up the gas can, I'll go ahead and pick it up, and still I can't drive the car, but if I go ahead and fuel it, pretend there's like something you can fuel right there, I'll refuel the car, it will then allow me to use it to show up to my next destination. And today I'm going to show you guys how to do this. So yeah, let's get right into it. The only things you're going to need from the devices gallery are a few buttons, an explosive device, and a couple teleporters. First thing I do is have this button send a signal to this explosive device, exploding it, which is really me picking it up and putting it into my inventory, quote unquote. But yeah, let's look at the mechanics behind this. Time to trigger is set to 1, delay and reset delay is set to none. I turn the trigger sound off, of course, and my interaction text is the actual interaction text, or the action you're going to be completing when you press the button. So for me, right here, it's pick up the gas can. I made the interaction radius 0.5 because it looked appropriate. It surrounded the entire gas can, so I was like, yeah, why not? Device, something like that. I went in. Let's do teleport. Disabled. This button allowing us a car in Fortnite Creative. I hope this video helped you out, and here's a functioning, working, drivable car in Fortnite Creative. Anyway guys, that is how you make my version of a working, drivable car in Fortnite Creative. I hope this video helped you out, and in light of the new season, here's a clip of me getting my first Season 4 win. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, this has been Syntax. Later.
Your fries, good.
I just had some questions about the
To be honest, I'm an independent. I'm on this end, so I'm like learning. So I'm looking around at everybody.
A battery-powered flashlight may be something you never thought you needed in Fortnite Creative. Hopefully, after watching this video, I've changed your mind. This is Syntax, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a battery-powered flashlight in Fortnite Creative. So yeah, let's just get into it. Now, before I get started, I just want to say there's actually quite a few complicated mechanics involved in this. I was surprised when making it to see actually how much goes into making this work, but if you do it all correctly, it's actually really, really cool, at least in my opinion, and especially cool for horror maps. So just stick around to the end to see if you like what I got going on. Now, of course, by battery-powered, I mean every so often you have to refill the flashlight with batteries, or it will cease to work, it will stop working, it will turn off, and you will not be able to turn it back on. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. It's just how to do that in Fortnite Creative. Now, if you weren't already aware, there is a flashlight in Fortnite Creative. It can be found under the Weapons tab. It's the second thing, and you just turn it on and off, and it works like a normal flashlight. The first and most important thing is your battery design. Now, there are a few that will work. The one I specifically went with actually involves a couple bottles of alcohol. If we go to the Wild West prop gallery over here, I actually grabbed this bottle right here. All I did was turn grid snap onto 32. I shrunk all of it down all the way and I placed it. Then I went back to my rotate, set it to pitch, and then clicked it 8 times and stacked them on top of each other, so you actually had something that looks kind of like that. Well, I guess it doesn't kind of look like that, it looks like that. And yeah, that's the design I went with my batteries. I'm just gonna go ahead and move this button right here so you can see. As you can see, I have the batteries in clumps of 2 like that placed around the map. Well, for me, it's just around this little enclosed area, but that is my design for all my batteries. Refill the flashlight with batteries, or it will cease. The important thing is your battery design. Now, there are a few that will work. The one I specifically went with actually involves a couple bottles of alcohol. If we go to the Wild West prop gallery over here, I actually grabbed this bottle right here. All I did was turn grid snap onto 32. I shrunk all of it down all the way and I placed it. Then I went back to my rotate, set it to pitch, and then clicked it 8 times and stacked them on top of each other, so you actually had something that looks kind of like that. Well, I guess it doesn't kind of look like that, it looks like that. And yeah, that's the design I went with my batteries. I'm just gonna go ahead and move this button right here so you can see. As you can see, I have the batteries in clumps of 2 like that placed around the map. Well, for me, it's just around this little enclosed area, but that is my design for all my batteries. They're just gonna look like that, and I'll place them around the map. Again, it doesn't have to be the 2 bottles placed like that, but in my opinion, that looked the best, so just go crazy with your design. Now, for the mechanics, you're going to need a series of buttons and triggers. You're also going to need a sequencer and a random number generator. You're also going to need a, well, you don't need a class designer, but I use a class designer. A class designer, an item granter, a mutator zone, and a damage zone. So if you got all that, just make sure you have all that in your inventory. The first thing I did was have a trigger that goes off at game start. So if we look at the settings right in here, you can see I have all this player stuff turned off, have activated on game phase, game start. Now this can trigger an infinite amount of time. You can see that right here in the table. You can see that little interaction. I'll pick them up right there. You can see I pick them up, and if I go back and look at that timer, you will see that the timer has actually reset. So as you can see, it's actually close to the base again, and it is going back to that trigger. So it, and I have nothing to refresh my. There it is. So as you can see, I've now respawned. I can use my flashlight again. The damage barrier is deactivated.
It's so stupid.
Really isn't peak Fortnite until I've taught you 3 different ways you can have conversations with gnomes. Yeah, gnomes. Animating props in this game is extremely overcomplicated. Of course I'm gonna have a video on it. This is Syntax, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to animate props in Fortnite Creative, or how to do stop motion animation. Now, I showed you a little snippet of it in the beginning of the video, but I'm going to show it again right here. So I actually make this bear, who is sitting on a stool, scooch off of the stool. You're going to see him climb down, and then he's going to sit on the ground. He's going to turn toward that shovel, get up, get up. suppose there doesn't need to be an entire video on how to hide in a locker in Fortnite, but here I am making it, so here you go. This is Syntax, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make the locker hiding spot in Fortnite Creative. So let's just get into it. So I am back on my most recent former map, my Cartoon Cat map, and in this map there is a mechanic that allows you to hide in a custom-made locker when Cartoon Cat is near you, or just hide in it whenever you want. And I'm just going to be walking you guys through how to build the locker and all the mechanics you need to set up and all the devices you need in order to make this work. Now the first and most important thing is probably your design of the locker, because the player has to fit inside of it. So
I'm about to play Call of Duty.
Just make sure the player can actually fit inside of the locker. Now, if you have the galleries, and this one also goes straight up and down. Head over to the when you look towards me back out. What I could actually see, well, I can't see.
I'm gonna start a new stream. I'm gonna play some Warzone.
Look at what you can see in terms of your